Welcome to the Dr. J.J. Thomas Podcast.
So I'm going to demo first, and I'm just going to start you with the basic ideals for bear. And then as we're training and practicing it, we'll talk about how that relates to developmental milestones and things like that. So for the bear posture, first I'll say in every single thing we do, I'm always encouraging fingers spread, elbows straight most of the time. And that's because we want to link everything to the core again. We want to link everything to the ribs and pelvis, essentially. So if your elbows are bent, then you're going to have biceps and triceps kicking in more than like scap serratus anterior and scap stabilizers. So fingers spread is just going to give more input into the nervous system, into the brain, into the somatosensory cortex to say, I know where I am in space. And then you're going to come on up to this, like we call this A-frame in GMB Fitness. I'll say right off the bat, everyone that's ever seen a yoga picture or done yoga wants their heels to be flat, and I don't want that in this, because see how when I do that, my head peeks out? I actually want to be shoulder dominant here, because if we think about developmental milestones, shoulders come way before hips. So I want to prioritize shoulder stability patterns. So fingers spread, elbows straight, I'm going to have my feet come up. I want my heels up, because if my heels are up, then I'm far enough back that now my shoulders are by my ears. See the difference? Now, there are maybe a couple people that will, but I'm pretty flexible and my heels don't go down. So I would say if your heels are down, unless you're super flexible, you're probably too close. See how also when I come up here, I'm now a U instead of a V. I really want to be a V or an upside down, like more of an A, okay? So in this position, legs are in line, and then all I want you to do is opposite arm and leg slide forward. When you do this, almost everyone ends up bending because we're greedy. We want to get far fast. But what I want you to do is just go a couple inches, opposite arm and leg slide together, and try to not let your legs move further than your hands. Try to keep everything in line. Then, once you feel comfortable with that, try to walk backwards. Feel how that changes the scapular activation. If you have socks on, you're going to slide. You may want to take them off. So let's break up and everybody try it and just start exploring and seeing what you're feeling. Yeah, so hips are high. Yep, slide. If your feet are outside your hips, I want you to bring them in a little bit. Now, as a PT, you're going to think about what your purpose is for this exercise. If your legs are wide, that's fine, but if you want to access their posterior chain more, you're going to want your hips in line. Good, pause there, Owen. If you have to bend your knees in order to get, there we go. So it kind of is like downward dog, except in A-frame, we push the floor away more. Good, let's go slide and walk again. That's beautiful. Opposite arm and leg slides together. I've been doing this for a long time and I still say it out loud. Opposite arm and leg slides together. Crazy, right? Owen, how's that feel? Good, relax your heels. Good. Good. Yeah. Yeah, and if you have tried it on one, try it on the other, just to see the difference in input to your body in terms of mat versus hardwood. Doug, that looks good. Yeah, you've been bear walking? Wow.
That's surprising.
A bit further. Feel how now push back. Feel how now more weight's on your hands.
Yeah.
Now keep that.
Okay.
Keep that frame. Don't let anything close. That's better. Now go backwards. Yeah. How's that feel? Looks good. Max, how's that feel? Good. Looks really good. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah.
Try to make it, yeah.
Good. Caitlin, how are you? Good. Take a break for a sec. Stay there, though. Stay there. Push back. Now, can you hold that frame and slide? That's it. That's it. Now go backwards. Drive away. Yes. Yes. Good. Okay. How did everybody like that? Yeah? Okay. I want to talk about some things I saw. Everybody looked really good. Some things I want to point out. Did everyone feel the difference how when they really got their, I guess your hips higher, but most importantly your shoulders by your ears, did you feel how that loaded here differently? And then think about developmental milestones, like even in this position, our head is getting a little bit of traction, but also we're getting those spinal erectors active, right? So if we think about, we're going to really delve into developmental milestones later, but getting those spinal erectors active is one of those first primal, really important pieces to the puzzle of being able to earn the right to run and walk. And this is a great posture to do that. Some of the things I noticed that I didn't mention earlier because it would have been too much, and now I want you to guys go through and one more time think about, for our patients that have sort of ventral line issue, what I would call ventral line issues that manifest into their feet and knees and hips, right? So either they're really, now I'm not saying you do, Doug, you were my first foot that I looked at. Doug looked down like, oh. You can even take that posture and take that move and analyze it even as they're doing that. So what are their feet and hips doing at that phase? And I try to help people, like, you want to go target your most important things first. Like, maybe your first and most important thing is to get those spinal erectors and get those scap stabilizers. So the cue I'm about to show you is not something that we would do day 1 with a patient because it's probably too much, but maybe day 2, day 3 when you're following up on form again. Watch out for this. So here in this position, what you'll see is if somebody is really pronated and standing, they'll still end up falling into that pronation here. I don't do it that well. But so if they're like this, we want to use that opportunity to cue them, like try to keep knees, ankles, hips in line, right? Or if people are tight in their posterior chain, they'll line up. I'm exaggerating, but they'll line up like this, right? That might be fine if your main goal really is scapular work. But if your goal is scapular work, why not integrate it to the posterior chain? Why not get their hips in line? So now as they slide, they're going to get essentially a neural glide and access to their posterior hip a little bit better than if you abduct them and shorten that lateral side of them. So everybody go back through, do like just a couple more reps forward and backward, and pay attention to your own body of how your hips are. Are they very wide? Are they internally rotated? Are your feet pronating? What are you getting from yourself there?